Hello everyone and welcome back. One more series to end off our day. Two of our provisional teams as we have AOE going up against FLYF. And this one too, I mean, not gonna lie, up to this point, it's looked kind of rough for a couple of our provisional teams, especially too when you're looking at FLYF's record. They took a game off of Immortal Challengers. That one game then put them at 2 overall wins in our split so far.
So yeah, we don't like to look at record when it comes to some of the provisional teams. It's all about growth. Development of the players. That's the focus here. And I know it sounds maybe
the way you said it sounded sarcastic, but we're being very serious.
It might sound disingenuous, but it is intentional. Like, we do actually look at these teams from a lens of how are they improving week over week? How are the players showing growth? Because that is the mark for these teams. It is a 16-team league in a developmental tournament. Some of the teams at the top, we feel that those players are ready to make that jump to LCS. Some of these players, this is their first shot or very early in their career, and FLYF definitely lean more towards that side of the teams and of the rosters.
Which is fair. And I will admit the win, the 1-1 going up against Immortals, that is a really big win when we're talking about
really
things
big.
Like developing. So it's nice to have that reminder of the stakes and all of that once in a while, especially too here in week 7 and looking at a team where the record isn't necessarily reflective of what we might be looking at. Going up today, though, I feel like this could be a really fun test for FLYF going up against AOE Gold because, I mean, this is a team that, if we're looking strictly at record, is definitely faring a little bit better off, and they definitely have a couple of really strong players. I mean, Gamsu even got to be included in a hit single earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, we always know Gamsu looks better and better over the course of the regular season, even going into playoffs, right? Every single split, it feels like Gamsu comes in really rough, and everybody's like, oh, is this guy just overrated? Like, what's going on? And then towards playoffs, they just, I don't know what it is. I don't know what system he has, but he always seems to be doing quite well towards the end of the season. And going into this one has been no different. Gamsu has yet again been slowly ramping up towards that playoffs form, less opportunities to just kind of mess around. And now he's in the part where he gets to find out a little bit more. We get to see exactly how much growth he's had over the course of the season.
Look at how handsome this team looks now that we have all the photos on the screen, too. I love it. Throughout the year, we've slowly gotten more and more photos. Everyone's represented.
You're not allowed
setting us up for failure in our next screen.
I know, right? You're not allowed to start talking about how great the photos are when this is what we have next. It's okay, FLYF. It's going good. I want to touch on the fact, too, though, when we're looking at the jungle spot in particular. I mean, I feel like I've been gone a couple of weeks and I've missed multiple changes happening in the roster, specifically with that spot. And that's also kind of a little bit of a tough blow, too, as opposed to other teams that have their full roster, people that have been playing with for a while, and really get to work together and develop together.
And that's to the point that I made earlier. This is a team, this is a roster that has a lot of new players on it. It's some returning like Instinct and Sword to this level of play, but everybody else pretty much coming in as rookies. Now, they started with Goo, then Maniac, now Hyper is in the jungle for FLYF. That's also 3 different junglers that they've had to get caught up. It's honestly like pretty impressive that they were able to pick up the win against Immortals for all those reasons as well, and I think Hyper was a big part of it. But the big player that we always highlight with this team is Lunacia. It's the top laner.
So.
He is insane. Like, this rookie is actually impressing me a lot in this year, not only for all the solo kills that he's getting, because he is, I believe, 3rd place in the league for solo kills. It's Eminus, then Hoon, then Lunacia, but it's also the fact that over the split, he has been getting better at side laning in the mid to late game. He's still not there yet. He still makes a lot of mistakes and is oftentimes the gold leader for his team, and then they still pick up losses, which doesn't feel great, but he's improving as the split's gone on.
And that's one of the big things, right? We have to compare Lunacia to a lot of other people who have kind of come in to that spot where they didn't have any real competitive experience. They basically just came out directly from solo queue, and unfortunately, most of them have not been particularly impressive. And so the fact that Lunacia is, realistically, like middle of the pack for top laners is remarkable, right? He's actually been looking really strong, and this is a team coming in for FLYF that definitely needs people to start seeing these big market improvements, and I feel like Lunacia has kind of been the poster boy for that for us.
I'm excited to see how Lunacia is going to be faring up against ramping up for playoffs Gamsu that we have ahead of us here with AOE, because that could be a test.
Yeah, we'll get some look at his footage here. Joshi, is he at playoffs Gamsu? Has he reached the level?
He's not there yet, but he's getting close. He's continuously getting better, right? One of the things that he said that he wanted to work on for himself this year was his ability to actually control a lot of these fights, to play more carries, right? The Mordekaiser is something that he's done quite a bit in the past, but he's also trying to play things that can just solo carry the game all on their own. And now that Gamsu is back, looking for more of these individual plays, it is remarkable growth that we've seen from him. Historically, the only carry you would ever see out of Gamsu was Gangplank, but he's got more things on the table now.
I think the Mordekaiser in particular is the exciting one because I don't think anybody else has played it this split. I think he's the only one, right?
I'd have to double check, but he's definitely the primary person who has.
Sure. Well, the top lane matchup is going to be exciting because Gamsu is reaching that playoffs form. Even if he's not there fully right now, he has been scaling. Lunacia has been growing as a rookie top laner.
Oh my god, we're talking about Gamsu approaching playoff form, but then like looking over these stats, like why aren't we talking about Lunacia more?
Well, we do.
more than that. Why didn't Lunacia get a song dedicated to him?
That's a good point.
His name is a lot harder to rhyme.
Yeah, that's also a good point. Something I want to highlight here, a key difference between these two. Lunacia's stats are best in lane. Once you get past laning phase, it's not as impressive as to what he's accomplishing. And even then, he's not at like the top of the top half of the top laners when it comes to like goal difference at 15, CS at 15, things like that. But what he does have is very low first blood victim percentage. He's very rarely killed first, and he is almost always getting they're always blind picking for him. So it's very impressive that he's not dying very much in these lanes where he is always picking first, oftentimes getting counterpicked, and then also he's picking up a lot of first bloods himself. 16.7% is not like insane, but compared to most top laners, it's actually pretty high.
Yeah, and just having double Gamsu solo kills is definitely a testament to how strong Lunacia can play this laning phase and how willing he is to kind of flip it as we start going into the duels later on in the game. If Lunacia can do that against Gamsu, Gamsu has never been the most impressive split pusher, but this is an opportunity for FlyFam to maybe find their third win of the season.
Well, I have a new quest to go see what words rhyme with Lunacia, so Kangas and Desiree can get on a single about that. And while I do that, I'm going to let you guys go off to draft to see what these two teams have cooking.
Lunacia.
Thank you, Sierra. Yeah, Lunacia.
Demacia.
Oh, that's a good one. Already, quickly.
I feel like there's a car. But the name isn't coming to mind.
Feracia. No.
Delacia. There's something.
Well, let's let Twitch chat figure that one out.
We'll have Twitch chat.
Let's get a Twitch
what rhymes with Lunacia?
Lunacia spam, or for Lunacia rhymes. Yeah.
We'll figure that out. There's definitely. I'm sure there are words that will come to mind, and I'm still pretty convinced that there's a car. But like, I don't know.
I'm also not a car guy, so that I'm not the one to ask car questions about.
Our producer says Dacia. That's something that I only know about from PUBG. So.
I don't even know what that is. Well, let's catch up on Pick and Ban, because AOE find themselves on the blue side.
Car.
FlyFam on the red. Yeah, I'm just going to get us away from the car conversation so I don't embarrass myself saying something stupid. Lee Sin and Jax taking off the table. Ash taking off the table from FlyFam. Notably, AOE is banning away Lunacia's blind pick champions. When Jax is up, FlyFam are instant locking that for Lunacia.
Yeah, it has been one of the few things that they can do in order to try and build advantages for themselves. And this is, while we spent so much time talking about the top lane, I also want to spend a little bit of time looking at the bottom lane, because this is probably where the biggest mismatch on the stage actually is going to be. Lynx and Skytech are taking teams like Unforgiven and Destiny and Lost and Zazel and going even or better against them in a lot of their situations, whereas Instinct and Sword, we had fairly high hopes for them coming into the year, especially for a provisional roster.
There's not a lot to say. There's not a lot to talk about and a lot to prove, because Instinct was trying out, I know, for the team, and initially kind of one of the front runners for the Challengers roster. Masu comes in, nails his tryouts, and gets Challengers Instinct down here at FlyFam. So there's incentive to perform as a player like Instinct here. And if you can beat Lynx and Skytech, who have been on a hot streak, that's a great start towards your playoffs run. AOE lock in. The Gragas for Gamsu early on. Still flexible, but does seem like a Gamsu champ.
True. I mean, it's definitely something. It feels like something that Winnie would also be very excited to play. But as we start looking towards it once again, this Annie has been something that is very common, especially on the red side in the first couple of picks, just because you do create that very strong flex option where you can't throw it in the mid lane, you can throw it down to support. I'm going to guess that this is almost definitely going to be going towards Sword, because it doesn't feel like the kind of thing that Blaze would want to play if they don't have to.
Especially not blind, so they'll probably hold it as a flex. Luck and a jungler here, which would make sense. AOE go over the Lovers duo in the Xayah Rakan. Is this Xayah Rakan every single game so far today? I think it's 100% pick rate.
I think so, yeah. We've
I'm
definitely
pretty
had a lot
sure.
of Xayah.
Seen a lot of it.
And every time we've had Xayah, we have had Rakan. And we've also seen what can happen when you take Xayah Rakan into the Annie.
True. Yeah,
Okay.
actually. No, I got triggered last week. There were way too many level 1 Annies walking up and pressing Q on the Xayah, and then Rakan's
Well, they don't have
like,
Q,
well,
they only have E. That's the thing, is you've been starting E as Annie at level 1. You don't even have a real stun at level 1. That's part of why people are getting
might be
blasted to start things off. But we do have the Renata coming through, telling us exactly where these champions are going to be going. It is going to be Blaze's Annie in the mid lane, and Sword is going to be playing the Renata. A little bit surprising to see that come through. It tells us a lot about the composition that they're already building relatively early on, and suddenly your consistent damage coming out from FLYF is unimpressive.
I'm just gonna say it. I don't like this from FLYF. Like, why not just lock in a jungler? I don't see Renata getting banned.
People aren't
the next
banning
phase.
Renata.
Yeah.
People aren't playing Renata. Yeah, this feels very surprising for sure to come out. Now, one of the things that we can still see, because they still have a lot of magic damage, even Varus does a decent amount of magic damage, is they need physical damage. And Lunasia's Jax is banned away. He's got some, like, Fiora games as well. I'm trying to figure out how you even bandage this. He's played Camille, he's played Renekton. It's probably going to be a Renekton game unless it gets banned away.
Renekton would
But
make
Renekton
sense.
into Gragas is so bad.
Yeah, it's not great. You're already counterpicked. It feels like AOE just have a much more solid fundamental going into this pick ban. We don't see the final ban for AOE. We'll get update from production as to what that is, or if it's a missed ban. But let's see what FLYF want to do for their final picks here. Blind pick? No, they already have the Annie, so this wouldn't make any sense to go for. They're just they're baiting
That's
me
for
right
Instinct's
now.
girlfriend. That's the kind of thing that,
yes,
that kind of would be, right? Yeah, there's a lot of people that go by Cass at the very least. But we do see the Vi. Currently, however, going to be going over to Hyper, and Hyper's been an interesting player to kind of track as well. We are getting confirmation that the last ban was a Wukong, banned out by AOE. And so, Hyper is definitely another player that's been interesting to kind of track throughout the course of their career, because last year and prior to that when they were on TSM, they were a player that we were not impressed with. They were definitely struggling to find a lot of their pathing around the course of the map, but they were figuring it out. They did show a lot of growth over the course of the regular season, and now as they're coming into FLYF, we'll see how much more success they can actually bring to the team. They did get one win in their short amount of time that they had with this team already.
True. It is important to highlight that Hyper has a higher win percentage than anyone else on the team, because he's the newest one on, has played the least games and has one win. So. Let's see what AOE lock in for their final picks here. It's the Jace mid lane and the Psy on top, so it is Winnie. You called it on the Gragas. Probably full AP at this point, right? You know, just try and one-shot the Annie, one-shot the Varus.
Honestly, because you have no other magic damage, but until FLYF builds something that's tanky, you don't have to build AP, right? So we need to see something coming out from Lunacia that will force something AP, but Lunacia is also not really a tank player. He's got some Cassante games, and this is the first time he's played Gnar.
Yeah, I don't think I have not seen Lunacia play Gnar yet. I haven't looked at the
This is his first Gnar on stage.
Wow. Yep. Okay, so a new look from Lunacia. We were hyping him up at the pre-show, talking about all the solo kills, the fact that he almost always blind picks, doesn't get counterpick. Well, now he's counterpicking. Now he's picking something that isn't necessarily known for being like a split push mega threat in the late game, which is what Lunacia has been piloting a lot of. Still can lane bully and does have a really good matchup into the Scion, though. So who knows? Maybe Lunacia still can pop off here.
I mean, really good is a little bit of an overstatement, right? It's a decent, like, Gnar is favored to be up about 2 waves is kind of where I'd put it at about the 10-15 minute mark. So Lunacia can find solo kills, but so can Sion. It's not as though this is a free matchup either way. And I am, let's see if I'm pointing correctly. There we go. I'm a really big Gnar fan. I've got multiple Gnar plushies and things, like right up over here. Yeah.
All right, if Lunacia pops off, you have to go grab that plushie.
There you go. Multiple Gnar things coming through. But as we load onto it, I'm not super thrilled with this champion right now. It scales really well with skill, and oh my god, Gamsu's going with a classic tech. The Comet coming out for the Sion. This is typically used when you are playing to kill your lane opponent.
Yep.
And this is something where you do it going into the Gnar, you can kill your lane opponent because of how low Gnar's base stats are.
And if you land 1 E, guarantees the Comet hit. If you land 1 Q, guarantees the Comet hit. Unless Gnar jumps away from it or something. So, yeah the poke is going to be actually pretty annoying for Gnar to deal with. Let's see if Lunacia is ready for that.
Yeah. I wonder if Gamsu gave up the Resolve tree, because Second Wind as Sion into Gnar is really, really strong, especially when you pair it with the Doran Shield. But we'll have to speculate on that at another time. We are getting into the game, and this game will mostly only have playoffs implications for AOE. A lot more than for FlyFam, right? FlyFam are currently 2 games behind Team Liquid first, at least at the beginning of the day, and they only have, or I guess they have 4 games left to play after this series, right? They're going to play TSM Challengers and Team Liquid first. It's actually possible for them to start getting some wins, but it's also worth noting that Team Liquid first are going to be playing CLG Faith today. That has already happened. I don't know the result. And they play FlyFam on Monday. So, okay, so they're
first 2-0'd their series. So it's very unlikely FlyFam move in the standings here.
And catch them,
AOE could actually jump up because they also have a pretty busy weekend. They got Evil Geniuses and a Dignitas to close off. But Evil Geniuses, I think, is a really big one because if they win this, they could be ahead of EG in the standings, which actually, now that I re-look, they currently are ahead. They could even jump away from the clump that they're currently in, get to like 10th place, maybe 9th place.
Yeah. I mean, they're currently 2 games behind Immortals, or 1 game behind Immortals and 1.5 games behind TSM. The half meaning they have not played the same number of games at the time where you start looking at it. And so if they can get a couple more wins, they can move up, get a better opponent, something that they're more likely to beat come playoffs. And so we will see Winnie already coming around very aggressively.
They could just go in for the gank. Nice from Sword, blocking Skytech from going in and knocking up Instinct, or at least getting flash out of Instinct. So Winnie is spotted. Let's see if Hyper catches him now. He's walking over. Both have red buff. Vault Breaker popped. Blaze is coming in. Should be able to follow up with a stun. Do you flash for it? No, they don't want to commit.
Not going for it. But I do kind of want to go back to it, right? I always feel... Ooh. Okay. If FlyFam can beat Immortals, they can beat AOE, right? AOE is constant. We keep coming back to this. Is a team very strong bottom side of the map. Gamsu continuing to scale. Winnie is still the heart and soul of the team, though. His calls throughout the game will absolutely determine how well AOE can play this one out. And it is definitely a spot where FlyFam, they do have the tools to actually really scrap during the mid-game. They have a ton of powerful ultimates to play with.
If Blaze can survive this lane, I think Annie actually has a lot of upside into things like a Rakan who's trying to engage in. You just blow up the Rakan if he over-engages. Even Winnie if you're going full AP. And I see the Dark Harvest, so I'm assuming Winnie will be going full AP. And speaking of, passing up towards Lunacia here. Lunacia has Flash. Let's see how he wants to outplay this. Darkwings is roaming up too, so Jace damage will be over the wall. Oh, teleport used by Blaze. No one's taking the turret yet, and nobody will. AOE say, okay, that's fine. We get teleport out of the Annie. That is good enough.
Yeah. I mean, that's really good for Darkwings in particular, who can, as both mid laners back away, he will be able to teleport back in the lane, have control of this upcoming wave. And Blaze not getting anything out of it. Just getting a little bit of damage down onto Lunacia, but we're already seeing, like, look at the wave difference that's coming through. The CS difference absolutely in favor of Gamsu. Already up 2 waves as the Sion this early on. I mean, that's what the Comet really does, is it really takes this matchup from being pretty even, like slightly Gnar favored, to something where you can be super aggressive as Sion.
Oh, Winnie, I don't know if you win this. You're level up. Hyper Vault Breaker's in when he's running away, and actually, yeah, is doing just fine. Lunasi was not in a position to
Coming
punish.
out of my cage. And I've been doing just fine. Here's Sword, though.
Oh,
this is
Dark
this is
Wings.
bold.
Kind of face checks into Sword, not expecting the enemy support to be there, but when he sees Hyper, survives. First blood to FLYF, and now Winnie's flashing away. Hyper can follow up. That's a double kill.
Wow, Dark Wings and Winnie walking up there. What was the plan? Is kind of like my thought. Were they trying to find Hyper as he was like rotating from one camp to another?
Yeah, I mean, they saw that Blaze was not answering fast enough, and I guess the bot lane just didn't call that Sword could be there.
Yeah, I mean, Sword moving over. I mean, it's too early for the Rift Herald. Yeah, they're trying to find Hyper here, and then Sword just catches them. Their rotation coming through. This is a fantastic read from FLYF, and Jace, he's so squishy at this point in the game, right? There's no way Hyper goes down as long as you have the bailout available, and as Hyper finds a second kill of the game, suddenly FLYF are playing this one from an advantage. Hyper, who we were so critical of last year, is so much stronger right now.
Gamsu just solo kills this. Oh, Lunasia, no. Oh, okay, he hops away. Okay, he doesn't die.
But still, rough spot coming up for Lunasia. Gamsu has absolutely got his number so far in this lane. Will be able to crash another wave. Hyper's here.
Ignite down onto Instinct. He should just die. Oh, Sword trying to keep him alive there, but they just didn't have the damage. Hyper too far away as Lynx now walks up. This is the bot lane of AOE. This is how aggressive they like to play. Oh, Skytech looks to flash body block the Vault Breaker, barely not in range.
But yeah, this is the bot lane of AOE. They turn around a 2v3. Bit of a miscommunication coming out from Instinct, not using either the flash or the heal to keep himself alive. And Dark Wings, despite the fact that they went down, still in control of this lane. It looks like Blaze never got a back off after those 2 assists that they picked up. And Blaze just getting chipped out. One more accelerated shock blast can kill him.
Still has triple biscuits. Blaze yet to eat any of those. Yeah, one more Accelerated Shock Blast probably could get the kill, but Dark Wings doesn't quite have it, and now Blaze will back. Doesn't have teleport, so Dark Wings will get another wave shoved in here.
Yeah, good stuff coming out from Dark Wings. One of the things we've been rather critical of him so far in this year has been his poor laning phases, but going up against Blaze and actually taking control as this Jace, having such a strong laning character can give Dark Wings a lot more confidence to play with. And so far, I mean, AOE have tied up a lot of their early misfortunes, especially after Hyper finds those 2 kills. I'm really going to be paying attention to what Winnie chooses to do next, right? Because he is the major shot caller. He is a little bit behind, and he's also their sole source of magic damage this game.
Going for the AP build means that you expect your opponent to not have a lot of magic resist, so you can one-shot them. Rugs generally love when they are the only AP source of damage. But you're right, Winnie's usually, we call him the engine of the team often. It's a good analogy for the player that makes things happen. They're the driving force to get the team forward.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody call him the engine, though.
Well, in general, the player on a team that does that is called the engine. Yeah. So that's Winnie's role right now. As they
I don't know, I feel like you're making things up at this point, but now he's looking for a play.
Well, you remember last time I made train analogies, it did not go well, so we'll
Lunasia
avoid that. Lunasia taking a lot of damage from Gamsu. When he's walking up, they're trying to push Hyper off of the Herald, and they do so. Blaze pushed away too. AOE just kind of walk in and assert their dominance.
Yeah, I mean, AOE, they just walk in. They're more confident in their ability to take this fight. Skytech is on his way, and on the other side of the map, remember one of the things that has happened to AOE is when Skytech is roaming, Lynx has gotten caught a fair amount of the time. But he's doing just fine on the CS right here, and it doesn't look like the zoning is going to be that strong as the wave is going to be coming in. Lynx will lose like nothing. He will get all of this wave. He will get all of the experience from it. So great roam timing from Skytech, and Lynx is able to pick up everything that he came here for.
Sword's still level 5. Instinct was getting solo XP from the previous roam of Sword. We have a slight level lead for Skytech bot lane. They got to be careful, play it safe down there. They could always get engaged on by the Rakan Zaya combo. Ooh, interesting game state we find ourselves in here, Joshi. FLYF are holding out early on. The double kill to Hyper definitely helps out, and this is usually where FLYF can hang with teams. There's always something, though, where I call it the FLYF moment, right? Where
oh no,
the house is broken. Somebody gets custody of the dog.
Start going wrong.
Yeah, it's things start getting messy for FLYF. And that usually happens around the 15 to 20 minute mark. There's a big play that will just break the game open, and then the enemy team can run away with it. So I'm keeping my focus on that.
Nice.
Maybe it's going to happen earlier, though, as Lunacia is actually focused down. One explosive cast from Winnie is all it takes, and a slam dunk to get a kill.
Slam bam, thank you, ma'am. Shout out to Skimmy. Oh my gosh, just the damage coming through from Darkwings already. But yeah, that's the kind of thing where AOE, it doesn't feel as though FlyFam have had much of a response on the map. They've been reacting. Even the things where FlyFam have gotten out of this game have been plays coming through from AOE, right? Remember Darkwings and Winnie trying to find Hyper up on the top side, ends up getting caught out by Sword. The teleport towards top side was a play from AOE trying to go for a dive. Just that kill right there was still AOE going for something. It has been 100% about AOE trying to make these plays, making them work or not. And now that we actually have a dragon on the map, I mean, Darkwings, he doesn't even have items completed yet, but he's absolutely chunking out so many of these squishy members.
Still has a little bit of lethality that will help. We have the dragon fight set up right now. It's actually FlyFam that finds Skytech to start off. Now Skytech re-engages onto Hyper, gets flash out of him. Blaze is walking up, but Darkwings is right there to get him, but it's a Winnie that falls first. Flash from Blaze onto Lynx, who's in a lot of trouble. No ultimate, no flash, no nothing. And a double kill to Instinct.
Yeah, the great catch from Sword, getting that first handshake and locking down Skytech really breaks open the lines from AOE, and Winnie, without an ultimate, has no way to really disengage. AOE, this is the first time we've actually seen FlyFam go for something a bit more proactive. They find out Skytech, and again, as these lines get more confused, as Lynx does not have a front line between him and the rest of the team, he has to use all of his buttons just to kind of create some space, but by kiting down, by kiting to the left, he has nobody that can actually help him, whereas maybe if he had kited up towards the rest of his team, they might have been able to get Blaze.
Crazy that Sword played that so well without even having level 6. No ultimate available. Imagine what happens if Renata Glass has ult. They might just like kill a bunch of them. Winnie right now getting caught out by Hyper. You're full AP, you're not very tanky. And Hyper is accelerated, so Winnie has to run away.
Yeah, that's another dragon for FlyFam getting picked up, and the gold is still relatively even, but as this Rift Herald goes down, hey, Ben and CL2 Challengers here, they're going to get 2 plates, one for Darkwings, one for Winnie.
The Darkwings is sticking around, and he's getting surrounded. Sword is here, handshakes him back. Flash is available on Darkwings, but he's not going to use it, or maybe over the blue buff wall. Okay, he gets away for now. Can he escape? Wall breaker from Hyper, and he locks him down. Darkwings picked off.
Hey, Jace, power slam. That's a Vi line. She uses it a lot whenever she uses the ult onto the Jace. Don't hear it this time, but that's going to be another death coming in for Darkwings. But that's a lot of money that did just get funneled into the Grux and the Jace. And the poke is going to be immense later on in the game as it does continue to go on. But so far, I mean, still very, very even, right? We're still waiting for whether or not the FlyFam moment does happen, as you were calling out earlier. That is going to be a tough position for FlyFam. And I feel like we actually have seen the shot calling improve a little bit with Hyper joining the team, just as we saw it with Winsome joining for FlyQuest Challengers. Some players have an effect on the rest of the team where not only are they very vocal, but they get other players on the team to be more vocal as well. And that's definitely something that I feel like Hyper has had that kind of effect on this team so far.
Close to 100% kill participation. Yeah, you expect that comes with communicating with the team, helping them come up with the game plan. I also want to give props to Sword, who is piloting the Renata Glass, something that I was very critical of in pick and ban. I was not a fan of the first 3 champions locked in for FlyFam, but hey, they're making it work. Sword, on this pick, has found really solid handshakes, saved Instinct from that initial early gank from Winnie, found 2 big picks. First at the Dragon, then that second one onto Darkwings. He was the one flanking Darkwings to get the initial pick on him. So, yeah, Sword's having a really good game.
Yeah. And I'm excited for that, right? Sword has been a player that we've kind of been asking more from, right? This is second, third year in the developmental system that's played for TSM in the past, and I believe it was 100 Thieves next.
Was a mid laner originally for TSM, and then, of course, role swapped to support. So has had a bit of a journey throughout Academy and now into Challengers League.
but has been kind of here for a while and hasn't necessarily had the most impressive performances. And I feel a little bit bad for Sword because they are a player who's been around for a while, but early on in their career, it felt as though they were pushing Sword to play things that they weren't quite as used to, whereas we've been needing to see this kind of growth from Instinct and Sword in order to create opportunities for FlyFam. Instinct, we have to remember, was playing LCS last year.
Did not have a great time in the league, of course, but still has the opportunity to bounce back. It's never a linear path to LCS. There's many ways to get there, and comeback stories do exist. I think Instinct has a good start so far in this game to make that push.
And so we will see. We are getting into that territory where you were talking about, right? 15 to 20 minutes is when FlyFam can make or break their games. When the FlyFam moment doesn't happen, they beat Immortals.
Who are technically above AOE in the standings. So,
true.
By proxy, that means that FlyFam can win this one potentially. They are down in gold now, though. They lose the mid turret. AOE. Darkwings have been putting in a lot of work into that early on. Finally clears it. And they still have the Herald to play with. Wendy did not drop that. So theoretically, as this Dragon's coming up in 30 seconds, AOE can look to set that up, but they're getting caught out in their vision setup. Skytech goes in, actually re-engages back now onto Hyper, taking a lot of damage. Finally, the Renata ultimate comes in. Darkwings is golden into the stasis, re-engage from Winnie. Lynx goes up into the sky with the Feather Storm, but Blaze picks up the kill to Darkwings. Goes into his own stasis. He's still alive. Oh, Tibbers blocked the initial body slam. Can he do enough damage to Winnie? Oh, Instinct is chasing him down. Doesn't have flashes. About to come off cooldown, but he can't get in range.
Just not enough damage. Just barely not enough damage here for Instinct.
Close.
At least they get some damage here on the mid lane. They can't start up this Dragon, though. That would be absolute suicide. So 2 for 1 going in favor of AOE and FlyFam. Don't hit it. Don't hit it.
I think they're going to go for it.
That's wild. Well, we take another look at this. Yep. This is, again, a fairly confused fight at the outset, but I really like what we see coming through from AOE. They knock Hyper back, but unfortunately Darkwings is a little bit too proactive in this play. Going in and taking a lot of damage puts them in a spot where they can actually be traded back when they probably could have been a bit more proactive fighting up against Blaze. But Winnie, I love this, hitting the bear, ends up hitting the child at the same time. And it is, okay, FlyFam, they actually managed to take the Dragon down in time. That's 2 for them.
Interesting. Instinct and Sword were able to clear it fast enough before AOE got back onto the map.
I don't think AOE was expecting that.
Yeah, we didn't see how close it was. Honestly, I was expecting us to come back to see Instinct and Sword like dying to AOE while they're at the Dragon, but hey, prove me wrong.
Good stuff. And now here comes AOE. They're crashing the Rift Trail down here in the bottom turret. That should be another structure going down. And you can imagine Gamsu, as the wave does crash, might get that as well. No, is going to be backing away, but this has been one of the things that AOE does better than almost all of the other provisional teams. It's just they are so decisive in a lot of these plays that they actually go for it, and they can create a lot of opportunities for themselves. FlyFam will stop the second Herald crash, but down about 2,000 gold already. The big carry, I think, has to be Instinct, right, in this game. He's the only one who can really grind down Gamsu.
But is he going the on-hit build? Yeah, I know. He's got the lethal tempo. For sure he is. I guess that makes a little bit of sense then. You do need somebody to kill the Scion on the front line who we really haven't seen in any action, which is concerning. You know, once he does show up into the fight, it's going to look very different for FlyFam. Hopefully they don't get conditioned to thinking that all their fights will not have a big Scion in front of them. Instinct will have to put in a lot of work to clear him out.
Yeah. The other player that I really want to pay attention to this game is Blaze, right? Because Lunacia, if they don't get solo kills, has oftentimes really struggled to find purchase in the rest of the game. But Blaze on this Annie is going for this Roa, is building up a Shadow Flame as well. Will be doing quite a bit of damage in these upcoming fights. And can kind of one-shot several of the squishy members. If you get the stun onto Lynx and the cleanse doesn't come out very quickly, Lynx can die almost instantly.
Or when he has the AP Gragas, Darkwings as a lethality. Jace, speaking of, flashes away from Hyper, who looked for a pick while the team wasn't quite ready to back him up. So we'll see if he gets punished for that later on. Yeah, I mean, it's
very
important
respectful Flash.
to highlight just how much burst damage FlyFam have overall and how much layered CC they have too. That's something that we haven't fully talked about. Everybody on this team has a form of hard CC, and if they find one person, as long as the rest of the team is there to follow up, they can lock them down for quite a while, and that means AOE is going to have to take full advantage of, first off, their mobility and peel ability, but also things like stopwatches. I'm happy that Winnie got one very early on. I think that that's going to bring a lot of value for the next fight.
But mobility is on Evil Geniuses.
Ah, yes. Until King gets here, we'll see if he's able to arrive.
Sorry, I had to. It took me a moment to remember what team he was on. That would have been faster with it. I got there.
Okay.
There's 80 players in the league.
There's a lot of players.
There's a lot of players to remember. But I just started taking a look at this. FlyFam, okay, I was like, there's no way. There's no way you hit the Baron right here. But realistically, AOE does need to be very careful about this upcoming team fight, right? Because there is another dragon that's going to be spawning in over a minute and a half. AOE, they actually have some kind of crushing poke to put out between Darkwings, who is now on 2.5 items, and Winnie, who's got that Night Harvester, and the barrels will actually hurt. It's very difficult for FlyFam to really put the poke back towards AOE. It really is going to be about trying to find a lot of these flanks coming through from Blaze, from Hyper. Even Lunacia can be a crucial member for some of these fights. And right now, they're committing towards the top side of the map, but AOE are already there to try and stop them.
They have not cracked a turret yet. FlyFam struggling to actually make that happen, as Instinct is now joined up by the rest of his team in the mid lane. Maybe they can run AOE around the map. It feels a little bit like FlyFam are unsure of what they want to do, where they want to be. I'm not seeing a lot of clear direction for their lane setups.
Yeah, that's typically been the biggest problem with FlyFam and some of our other provisional teams, right? It is why AOE has become probably my favorite provisional team to watch, even more than Wildcard, which I think is surprising to a lot of people, is because everything AOE does, it feels like they're doing it with intention. Now, I don't always agree with their reasoning, but the fact that they always have intention behind all of the things that they try and do gives them some really cool moments, right? They will try and sneak Barons away from people. They will be very aggressive in how they actually drop waves. And this teleport that's coming through from Blaze, it's not a... You don't want to take front to backs against this team.
Maybe they can get Lunacia to push bot and then flank as Mega Gnar. He doesn't have a lot of rage bar filled up, but he can fill it up on the wave. Sword just chunked out by Darkwings right there. Yeah, I think because of that now, very low likelihood that FlyFam can take this fight.
Yeah, I love what Skytech's doing here, but it is going to be all for nothing as they do end up picking up the Dragon, just kicking off all the boxes to make sure they get everything.
What?
Huh?
Gamsu got the Dragon kill.
Well, obviously, you get the extra money from the
wait
gold.
a minute. That's a lot of damage, Darkwings. Woo!
Yeah.
Oh, wait, Lunacia wants it, though. He goes in. Oh, he completely whips the ult, though. Oh, easy solo kill for Darkwings from this point. That was a little rough.
Moving on. Darkwing was already going to be a problem this game just because of how much money they were funneling into him from all the structures, right? They gave him the mid lane, they gave him the top lane, they gave him some money down here in the bottom side as well. Getting that extra solo kill, getting the extra money there, he's actually farming one of the best in the game. He's going to be a huge problem because he's still a scaling champion. Hey, another Scion bounce!
Okay. And we got a TP from Darkwings as well. They really wanted to try and catch Blaze right there. Unsuccessfully as FlyFam get their mid laner out of there.
That wave down to the bottom lane is crashing. It's going to be a bit of a problem. Lynx.
Chain of Corruption misses onto Lynx. That's a flash tibbers from Blaze and frame perfect. Featherstorm from Lynx.
Yeah, great stuff coming out from Lynx, dodging away from the tibbers. They almost take it down. They smite it. Somebody gets a 50 gold off of that. And now Darkwings left all alone. Jace will probably take this entire turret in a single wave.
And Lunacia is going bot instead of top. FlyFam again seem a little confused as to the lane assignments, how they want to position here. They're just going to hard force out of Lynx, who does not have the ultimate, but still have the cleanse, still has flash as well. Chasing deep under turret. Hyper tanking that up. He does get the kill, but Winnie can clean up after. Hyper falls. Double kill to Winnie.
Yeah, the entire turret goes down up in the top side. Now Darkwings is here.
Darkwings, yeah, he's going to jump onto Lunasia. Has the ultimate. Is this your chance to redeem yourself? Instinct, can he get to the wall? He's got flash available. Oh, just barely, not enough time. That's kill credit to Skytech.
I think that was it. That might have been our FlyFam moment of the game, right? AOE now feels like insurmountably far ahead. The amount they committed to actually try and kill Lynx while they do get him was just so much. And now with Hyper dead, it is going to be AOE starting up the Baron. I mean, it's tough, right? Honestly, great ultimate from Winnie. Sword flashing forward does allow the little bit of extra damage to come through, but it forces Sword into that teleport, and they do still pick up the kill anyway. And at the same time, Gamsu and Skytech, they might have been able to be even a bit more aggressive here, maybe pick up one extra kill, but still, flashing forward to get Instinct away from the wall, make sure he doesn't have the time to do it. And one of the things that's been impressive to me about Gamsu is he is using the knockup from the Q basically instantly, right? As soon as he has the opportunity, he's been really, really good at tracking when that actually is going to happen.
Not wasting any time, and crucially not doing it too soon so that you don't get the knockup. Good stuff from Gamsu. I also do want to highlight, Sword actually had a pretty cool play there in that last fight. He keeps himself alive, not because he thinks he's going to get a kill and then come back to life, but because he needs to block the engage from Skytech. So still impressed with Sword's play, even if the team is struggling right now because of 5,000 gold lead to AoE. Gamsu does ult to safety there. Teleport out from Blaze, who's trying to maybe catch him. AoE are in a really comfortable spot to close out this game.
Yeah, another dragon coming up very soon, and one of the big things that we're going to have to pay attention to is the fact that Darkwings does a ton of damage now.
Wait, Skytech might just die? Can they blow him up? They do! Okay, that's something.
That's something. What can they do with it, though? Oh, nothing. Oh. The damage is coming through. Darkwings is fully operational. And now AoE, right? We've seen that Lunasia has not added to the solo kills at all, unfortunately, this game. In fact, almost gave one over to Gamsu. But now AoE, they don't even have everybody on the map, but they are so intentional with their map movements. Even with the second half of their Baron buff comes through, they get this bottom lane turret, giving a kill to Lynx, giving a kill to Winnie. Now they can cycle back into the mid lane. And this does nothing. Gamsu will walk away.
Gamsu's very tanky. I highly doubt Hyper and Lunasia have the damage to kill him. I don't even know if he needed to ult away, honestly. But I guess you don't know if Hyper has his ult. Maybe it was off cooldown. It is a turret, though, to FlyFam, so they don't get the kill credit, but they do get some more gold into their pockets.
They also lose a turret here in the mid lane, right? It's just an even trade back and forth with 15 seconds left on the actual dragon. AoE are there faster. Lynx buys boots. Going to be running back on out, and AoE, they have 3-item Jace working in the Black Cleaver as well to start dealing with the slightly tankier members of Lunasia and Hyper, but oh gosh, that would have taken Sword down to like 40%.
Yeah, Sword is quite squishy. And the funny thing is, like, Winnie's there as well to throw out the barrels. If you get hit by both of those, you probably just die. That one hits Blaze, who actually tanked up like a champ. Engage coming in now for Gamsu, and Skytech's got the pincer maneuver! Winnie blows up Sword, Hyper falls as well, and FlyFam are going to take a desperation fight because they know that the game's pretty much doomed after that. AoE, so decisive when they go for the engages.
I want to take a look back at that replay here in a second. I'm pretty sure that Lynx didn't actually need to cleanse, but as we take a look at this, AoE rocking towards the end of the game, going to be picking up another dragon. At least one inhibitor is going to be falling here. I don't think there's enough time for them to try and end the game, but AoE might go for it.
I mean, knowing them, it wouldn't surprise me, but they're going for the safe play instead, taking the inhibitor, taking the dragon. And now Baron, in 2.5 minutes, they should still have supers pushing by the time that's coming up. And we'll give them a lot of pressure if they just haven't ended the game by then. I mean, honestly, with this gold lead that they have, if they get one more fight, it could just be over.
Yeah, one more fight will actually end the game. As we take a look at this, I want to watch Blaze, and I think that Lynx doesn't get hit by the Tibbers. Watch for his name changing from AoE Lynx to Stunned. That will be the thing that they actually do, but it's the kind of, kind of respect thing that I think a lot of players will do really effectively. Yeah. No, it just doesn't hit. But that's a good respect coming up from Lynx, assuming that your opponents will hit these kind of things. You don't have time to be like, oh, did I get stunned? Because by the time you were reacting to that, it's a whole half second of not being part of the fight, whereas cleansing instantly is however quick your reaction time is to the flash.
It's so sad that Blaze was just barely out of range for that, because with this Annie build, you're going for the one-shots. Close to death cap completed. The idea being that, hey, if I hit somebody with a stun, I unload everything on them and just kill them right out. I mean, now with the Bloodthirster's shield, I think it'll be harder, so Link should be a little safer. But that's the game plan for Blaze. Unlikely that we'll see it based on the current game state. FlyFam, the moment has come and gone. And with this big of a goal deficit, it could come down to one last Hail Mary. They're walking forward, full engage on the Winnie. FlyFam say it's this or bust. Maybe we can get the tank down. Gamsu taking a lot of damage. He decides to ult away. Hyper knocked up. Hyper still alive? Okay, finally goes down as AOE have done it. Clearing out the front line of FlyFam. The damage dealers are in full retreat. And AOE can now walk this wave in. They have supers to work with. Low health bar on the minions, though, so FlyFam might actually be able to clear out this wave. I don't know if AOE can end with this one.
It'll be a little bit tough, right? The timings are still fairly short. There's not a whole lot that they can do right there, but they do bring another wave in, likely to pick up at least another inhibitor. And they can also exit towards the Baron as well. AOE doing everything that they need to try and close this one out. Darkwing still, I mean, that's half of Instinct's HP already gone. Another inhibitor goes down. This one on the far side makes it nearly impossible for FlyFam to actually try and contest this upcoming Baron. AOE, ever since minute 20, have been in full control of the game after FlyFam try and dive between two turrets to pick up links. Wasn't enough.
Now AOE back, spend all their gold back onto the Rift for that Baron fight, and then close this one out. Let's see how quickly AOE can make this happen, or if FlyFam again can find a miracle, because that's what it's going to take to come back in this. Not the point of the game where FlyFam is known to get their wins. The wins that they have gotten, it's been maintaining an early gold lead that they pick up for themselves, as opposed to coming back from a deficit. And it's a tough position for the players to be in, of course, at the end of the split. This was the matchup that we were thinking, okay, maybe FlyFam could get a third win. If we're looking at the strength of schedule, it would be AOE that they would most likely get it from. But it will not be game one. AOE have too big of a lead right now.
We'll see what happens, right? AOE trying to find the pick before they actually go for the Baron. They don't want to risk any kind of smite fight. Don't want to risk any kind of opportunity to lose the fight. As they take total control of all the vision. They now know that there is no vision at all for FlyFam anywhere in this part of the jungle. They will have to walk in blind, take a couple of extra shock blasts, and Darkwings will blow up any individual person who comes here.
They'll shred this Baron very quickly. FlyFam don't really have a safe way to walk in. Sword just getting blowed up by Darkwings. Pops the Shirelles to get away.
Oh, he gets it. He gets out.
All right.
And he's out. He's out. He uses the ultimate immediately over to pick up Skytech. Great smite.
Do you believe in miracles, Josh? I mean, I said it would take one. I think we just witnessed it.
That's the first thing. That is one step of many that still needs to be taken. AOE, they don't do everything correct. They allow Hyper to get into the pit, and this smite into the immediate awareness, like, oh, I can ult that guy, is huge.
He vault breakers to the wall to flash over. I don't believe Skytech had vision in the tri-bush at that time. So they did not realize that Hyper was there. He kind of faked out. So I think AOE was like, all right, well, jungler's not coming for the steal. Just burst it down.
Winnie.
That's huge. Winnie is in the brush, though. Okay.
There's no smite.
Hyper's going to walk up. We'll push him back. Yeah, Winnie doesn't have smite, so FlyFam could actually just hard take this right now. Lunacia is about to hit Mega. This could be a big engage coming in from Lunacia. Let's see it. Gamsu jumps in. Hyper's still in the pit. They trying to get onto the back line. Sword with a big ultimate. Instinct can pop off here. The CC's there, but Lynx is too big right now on the Xayah, doing a lot of damage here. So far untouched. It's a battle between the AD carries. Skytech, though, about to go down. Double kill to Lynx, but he's out of there. FlyFam take down the enemy AD carry.
No way.
And they're going to get the dragon.
No way. AOE falling apart at the end. SkyTech looking for a potential steal, doesn't get it, but oh my god, FlyFam are actually fighting back in this one. Instinct completely untouched. Blaze actually using the ultimate and catching. This is one of the dangers here for Lynx, is the amount of redundant crowd control that FlyFam has that you were calling out, right? Has to use the cleanse instantly, gets tagged there, and then has to dodge out from the next ultimate. Now has no cleanse for the rest of the fight. And Blaze, who's been holding on to his Tibbers this entire time, finds his way onto Lynx. He goes in and actually finds a huge ultimate here onto Lynx. That's so much damage that's just impossible for Lynx to dodge with no ult, no flash, no cleanse. Ends up going down, and he did such a good job for so much of the fight, but there's just so many things to be aware of.
FlyFam were 9,000 gold behind, with supers pushing mid and bot. AOE were on their victory lap, it seemed. And a Baron steal into a Dragon fight has brought it to a 5,000 differential. FlyFam still have a lot more work to do to win this game, but suddenly it feels possible. Suddenly, it's like the FlyFam moment is happening the other way. They're finding a surge and a little bit of momentum to ride out here, maybe turn their fortunes around this game.
And there's definitely something to be said about the fact that AOE, while they win a lot of games they're not supposed to, they also lose a lot of games they're not supposed to. Their games go longer than any other team in the league. I think it's like a 3-minute difference in the average game time for AOE versus literally anyone else. Their games go long. His ultimate, his Lynx.
Oh, they didn't take down the inhibitor either. But the recall does a lot right there. As Sword's trying to lock down Gamsu. Lunacia has Mega, has ultimate available, can't quite get in engage range. AOE are playing with this poke Jace. They're playing very far back. And now FlyFam, they lost their middle inhibitor. They're going to lose their second one, so AOE are right back.
Oh my god, the tech's back! The tech's back! I didn't know this with the Spear Shojin. Dark Wings can get 2 accelerated shot blasts out for every acceleration gate he puts down.
That's actually
huge.
Gross.
I didn't even know that interaction was back. That used to be tech that you used to do way back in the day when you were still putting points into the acceleration gate because it decreased with cooldown at the time. That's wild. So Darkwing's, like, his poke is absolutely crazy, but there's enough armor now on the other side that it's not as devastating as it was a while back. And so, with 3 dragons going over to FlyFam, only 2 for AOE, there's another Baron that's going to be the next major focal point, and Blaze still is going to be one-shotting fools if he actually gets in range of that Tibbers.
I'm wondering what the Morello is for. I mean, I guess there's Bloodthirster, auto attack heals. There's a tiny bit from Rakan Q and then the Gragas, but interesting choice there.
I like Rylai's a lot in that slot, but
yeah, Zhonya's
big thing here. Yeah. Nah.
No?
Nah. I mean,
but the armor.
You're a blow your load kind of character, you know?
Okay, I understand. You know, you don't need to bring a lot of protection in that case. AOE push you into the final lane right now. Wave walking in. Can FlyFam hold
Look at that, he's back to full.
The line? Oh, he didn't get it that time.
It's okay. The mechanic is still in. That's what I'm still excited about.
Okay.
Well, look at that.
This time? With Dark Wings? Yeah!
He doesn't have to land them, though. It's a lot of mana. They ult Gamsu.
Okay, Gamsu actually taking a lot of damage. That is Chain of Corruption used, but he uses his ult. Okay, ult for ult trade. Does Gamsu have Warmogs? I don't think so.
Not yet. AOE. I mean, they've definitely stalled out quite a bit. Haven't been able to make any real forward progress. As you were calling out, about 4,000 or 5,000 gold ahead at this point. But as we start looking towards the Baron, everybody's going to be moving over there. Gamsu already teleports there to be first, and there's no vision coming out for FlyFam. They only have 1 next to their Raptors.
They're teleporting in deep now. SkyTech and Winnie unspotted. As of now, Hyper is approaching. Blaze, how are you going to play this one out? Tibbers is available. They take a little bit of poke there. Winnie does a lot, and that Baron's just gone. No steal from Hyper this time.
SkyTech also throws out the ultimate, not going to be catching anybody. Now they move over towards the Dragon. If FlyFam can get another steal, if Hyper can actually find the steal, get them... Oh, jeez, the poke.
Interesting. Yeah, Winnie's just throwing that out to stop them from getting to the river first. I actually kind of like that, but Now Gamsu again, focused down. He's got the unstoppable onslaught up again. Blaze. Forward. Oh, he doesn't get Lynx! Lynx uses the Feather Storm perfectly again. And now is still alive. Skytech has the flank. Watch the Rakan over the wall. They see him now. He threw out the Q. Hyper was thinking about going in right there. Takes a lot of damage. Oh! The Dark Harvest pop into the GA. Hyper has to flash just to live. That dragon does not belong to FlyFam.
And AOE, I mean, they still have Blaze dead for 30 seconds, even after picking up the dragon. They're looking to try and end the game. They still have the Baron buff.
Okay, let's track the ultimates. Winnie's Explosive Cask is about to come up. Skytech has the quickness again. The engaged tools are there for AOE. Instinct has flash, so can look to play this fight very aggressively. Toe the line with how much damage you can get to how safe you can play. All of your inhibitors are down. Double supers in every lane, but AOE will not go for the game end. They will back off and say, hey, supers in every lane. I guess we're just gonna spend our gold and go again.
That's a lot of money, though, that they're giving over to FlyFam. They're going to be elixiring up. They're going to be spending all of their money as they come back out. Full builds completed for both 80 carries. I know we haven't been looking at him much, but Instinct can do the damage to actually keep them in this one. Yep. And look at that triple lifesteal coming out as well.
And it's the player that we had been critical of going in, saying, look, expectations for Instinct and Sword were higher than players like Lunacia Blaze. The rookies are rarely the ones that we say, okay, we expect you to carry. We look to the players with experience. And so far, Instinct Sword struggling in the season. This is an opportunity. They've been playing so well this game. They gotta hold the line as AOE approach with Baron empowered minions in every lane.
Yeah,
Supers coming in.
Inhibitors are going to be respawning, but they will very quickly go down as well.
Gamsu. Chain of Corruption again. They're locking him down. Can they kill the tank? They got Gamsu! He's down! Now, the engage from Skytech. They trade it back on the Blaze. Link still has flash. He can position aggressively. The Shock Blasts are coming in. Hyper's down too. FlyFam have 2 members left. Sword and Lunacia are low. Instinct still has flash. He's going to have to be the last one out here on the map as AoE start hitting the Nexus turrets. They do so much damage to the Lunacia and Sword. They need to get back out here. Meganar's up. He can look for the big engage. Lunacia, he's threatening them off. AoE realize this. They say we cannot let the Gnar get on us. And he doesn't quite find it. So AoE can re-engage. Skytex is in. Winnie under the turret. AoE do it. 42-minute banger. They'll finally take down FlyFam.
Wow, FlyFam, they found their moments a couple of times in that game, but it was not enough. And that was only game 1. AoE taking that one to the long haul. 42 minutes into that one. Yeah. Congratulations to AoE, but we will get to see more of them. Holy moly.
We got another game after this. That one went so late. It took AoE so long to close it. FlyFam got the Baron steal into the 3rd dragon win. I was like, is this the comeback? Are they doing it?
Is this it?
Unfortunately not. But we're going to give players time to catch their breath. I know we need to catch ours. So we're going to send it to a short break before we bring Sierra back for a halftime show and get into the final game of the day right after this.